First of all, Coach, 7-0. How's that feel for you guys right now?
Well, thanks for having me on, Steve and Fletch. Good morning, San Diego and listeners. It feels great. And the goal is to go 1-0, and obviously the job's not done until we win the conference championship, but the guys are playing hard. We've fought through adversity, and the guys deserve to be 7-0, and all we want to do is go 1-0 this week.
Coach, I got to ask you about Matt Araiza. I just updated my Heisman vote. I do have a Heisman vote, and I've had the privilege of voting for the Heisman now for it'll be my 12th season. And there's some quarterbacks that are having some nice years, but no one's making history like your punter. He is rewriting the record books. I heard Ted Leitner, the voice of the Aztecs, say after his latest 81-yard punt, which, by the way, traveled 84 yards in the air, that he's never seen anyone ever punt like this. On the professional level, the collegiate level, there's been a lot of great punters. And Matt obviously has been a really good punter. But this year, he's gone through the stratosphere. Like, what happened here? What is going on? How is he just rewriting the record books?
You know, I think that brings up an important point to a lot of collegiate athletes. So we signed him to scholarship out of Rancho Bernardo High School, and he walks into a specialist room with the cult following known as Lord Barron. John Barron is a senior in 2018, so, you know, it's tough to beat him out. When Matt shows up, he has incredible talent. He's just off the charts, just strength, athleticism, and then in the punter was Brandon Heiklin. And Brandon Heiklin was an outstanding punter here at San Diego State, netted over 40 yards, finished in the top 25 in the country with the punt team. So he learned from great Aztecs in front of him, and he developed, and he worked at it. It wasn't one of those things where, I'm never going to play. All he did was compete with them, and that got him better and ready to play. After his redshirt year there in 2018, 2019 is his redshirt freshman year, and he was ready to go on kickoff and field goal. And then again, Brandon Heiklin was a senior, and him and Brandon would go at it in practice, almost like the Michael Jordan commercial, or anything you can do, I can do better. And Brandon was just a little more mature. He operated at better speed, had better experience in how to handle game situations, and did a great job. And Matt was on his heels all the way, but he learned a tremendous amount from him. And how to get prepared for a game, he just watched Brandon Heiklin. Then here comes 2020, and he started. He earned the starting job in fall camp for that very reason. He was hitting absolute nukes. I mean, 70 yards in the air, and you're going, all the coaching staff, oh my gosh. And he had some technique issues to clean up, such as the ball would kind of line drive. He started versus UNLV in 2020, and the ball was coming out like a race car, at 10 feet of height, just a laser beam, and you're going, because that's problematic for getting blocked, and as well as going off of the guys protecting in front of you. And Tanner Cooljan took over the job from there. Again, another mature, more experienced, operated with a little more speed. And then 2021 here in fall camp, he just has put it all together. And where I'm going with this is he always stayed after it in developing and working it. He never said, why am I not the starter? He was ready to go and just kept getting better. He didn't look for the grass is greener somewhere else. And just to solidify his psyche, his attitude, and him getting better, this is why it's coming to fruition, and it's not a surprise to anyone of us here at San Diego State.
He's already tied the single-season record for 50-yard plus punts. He's only played 7 games. If you guys get all the way to the Mountain West Conference Championship game and then a bowl game, you're only halfway through the season. It's just absolutely mind-blowing. And so today, I have him at my number 3. And I've said this, if the Aztecs have a historic season and he's putting up historic numbers, which he already has and will be doing, yeah, I could see a punter on my Heisman ballot because he is making history. Unlike these other players, having nice seasons, but there's only one guy making history, rewriting the record books, and that is Matt Araiza. All right, Coach, let's talk about once again, and look, you have a head coach in Brady Hoke, as you had with Rocky Long. these coaches understand how important special teams are in terms of field position, flipping a field. We talk about Matt Araiza and what he does almost every time he kicks the ball. He's creating problems for the opposing team. But let's just talk about your special teams right now. Get an update from you about your return game and your return coverage. Are you happy with where this Aztecs team has been? Can they get better? What areas still need to go next level?
Yeah, in terms of focusing on the return aspect or the return teams, biggest thing I've been, emphasizing going in the year is possession of the ball. And we've had problems in years past where guys are trying to do too much in terms of the punt return, trying to create a return on every ball. And the difference being, you get that high hanging ball, you feel the coverage down in there, go ahead and fair catch. In years past, it was, get antsy, I want to create a play, and then our eyes come off of our hands when the ball's making contact to see if I don't need to fair catch this and that and the other, and all of a sudden we're turning the ball over. So we have not had as much return yardage on the punt return, but what we have created is to affect punters' hang time in operation because we've been aggressive in coming after punt protections and making sure that long snapper and punter for the other team, they better operate perfectly, or there's a guy named Tyrell Shavers, Trenton Thompson, Kagan Williams that know how to get to the block point and take it off your foot if you aren't operating at lightning speed. So that's certainly come to fruition this year. And then in the kickoff return, we've been 50-50. We had the fantastic return versus Utah. Jordan Bird, you can't coach that. 10-3 100-meter champion in the state of New Mexico coming out of high school. He gets blocks from 10 of his teammates, and I promise you that one unblocked player, he had no shot, and he was out the gate. But other than that, we've just missed. And what I mean by that is we're not sustaining our block just a second longer. We don't have great leverage. So those have been points of emphasis in practice because those are areas that are coachable, they're drilled, and that we are working at to then create those when those punts that are opportunity for return, that we get any return yard you get on punt return is an offensive yard they don't have to get. So those will be big chances in this week's game because it's going to be a fight now. It's going to be a 4-quarter game, the 60th matchup with Fresno, and any competitive advantage we give the Aztecs and the special teams in terms of field position and possession, that's what we're looking to do.
Doug Deakin joining us, Aztecs special teams coach. You talk about Jordan Bird, and we talked about Jordan a lot, and we should because he's a potential game breaker every time he gets his hands on the ball. He's averaging 7.8 yards a carry running the ball, 32.2 yards on his kickoff returns. Obviously, that 100-yard return, a big part of that, but just 5.3 yards on the punt return. So what can you do as far as the blocking scheme or maybe where he's receiving the ball to create better opportunities to break off one of those big punt returns that we know he's capable of?
Making sure you're great at the line of scrimmage. And what does that entail? It entails that when you see that ball snap, you close to your guys. One of the big mistakes or common things that show up are guys that pop their feet. The ball gets snapped, you pop your feet, you now give that punt player time and space to release. And when you get in phase and as you're running down the field with him, well, now the returner feels that. The better you are at the line of scrimmage once the ball is snapped and engaging your assignment and keeping them at the line of scrimmage, the more opportunities for return balls. And what Jordan has done a great job this season is fielding the ball. So sometimes we get 0-yard returns, but he's stopping a ball that's bouncing. And that gets, statistically it goes down as a return attempt, 0 yards. So I'm not too concerned about our return average because Jordan is making great decisions back there, knowing when to fair catch the ball, and most importantly, possessing the ball, especially when it starts bouncing. Punters have hit the ball 30 yards this year because they feel pressure. They get a shank off, as we term it. And Jordan's doing a great job of getting guys away from the football. And sometimes we lose some yards because he's unable to catch a 30-yard punt at a 2-second hang time, and they get an extra 10 on the roll. But what he's done a great job is getting behind the ball. And if it's continuing to roll, he gets on it. It counts as a return attempt for 0, but it's a big-time field position asset for our offense because instead of the ball rolling another 20, it only rolled, 5 to 10. So I think he's been doing a great job. And being at the line of scrimmage, that will create better opportunities for return balls because guys won't be in the face of Jordan.
We're anticipating a much different atmosphere than you've seen all season long in Carson. I mean, it's a tough sell. It was great as the Aztecs have been for a lot of people to make the trek up to Carson. I know this, Fresno people will come down. They will come down. There will be Fresno fans out there, and we're anticipating there are going to be a lot of Aztecs fans. You have a rivalry game, Coach, so the intensity obviously goes up another notch. And I don't know how many times I've seen rivalry games, whether it's on the professional level or collegiate level, where a big hit, big play by the special teams, you're already amped up because it's a rivalry game, just takes it to another level. I mean, do you have that mindset for your special teams as you get ready to kick off this game against Fresno State?
Absolutely. This is what college football is all about. This is the 60th time these two schools have played. There's obviously a trophy, the oil can. It's in our office. It's been in every meeting room, team meeting, right there up front so the guys can see it, and every tile on it of the game date and the game score. I mean, it is as good as it gets, and why college football is so special. And I can't wait. The guys can't wait either. I'll tell you this, Steve. You had me on early in the season, and I can't thank you enough. I know it's the morning show here, but the Cannon Karma has been all that in a bag of chips for the Aztecs. We ask that you continue to blast out that Cannon Karma for us, and absolutely special teams will be a key role. And our job here, we got another day of practice to prepare the guys. We'll have hands because I think it may come down to an onside either way. And we'll rep our onsides and our hands team because it will come down to special teams in some form or fashion.
Well, we put a challenge out to the Aztecs fans out there after the last home game. You know, we said, look, if this team goes on the road and can get W's at San Jose, at Air Force, and they get to 7-0 and come home against Fresno, we need to pack it up there at Carson. All right, we enough of this. Okay. Three home games left. You got that game coming up. You got, what is it, Nevada playing there?
Yeah, we'll be.
And then you have Boise State.
Boise State, Black
right.
Friday, Friday morning, 9 a.m. after Thanksgiving.
That is going to be unbelievable. We'll get to that down the road. I looked at that game like, what is going on there? All right, but that we'll save that for another day. Well, Coach, it's great to catch up with you as always. We're working that Cannon Karma. We're working everything we possibly can. But please, I beg of you, you Aztecs fans, because I know those Fresno fans are going to show up. I know they're going to show up. We need to be behind this undefeated Aztecs team. It's going to be a great battle. It's going to be intense. And yes, special teams, as always, will play a big part in who wins this game. I have the Aztecs, of course. I know they're going to win this game. Coach, we always appreciate the time. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me on.
There he is, Doug Deakin.